Come on, Galen. Come on, Galen. You're my butterfly. Sugar, Galen.
You say those things like I should know where they're from.
Come on, Galen. Come on, Galen. I make your legs shake. You make me go crazy.
I mean, I try to make you go crazy. Like, that is my goal every episode, but...
You're playing along with this in a manner that I was not expecting. I've opened up a door here that I regret. Galen, if I was a Sonic character, name my Sonic character OC. I am blank the blank. What is it?
I believe you are Elbows the Salmon.
Explain.
Well, I was trying to think of, like, you know, one of the characters is named Knuckles. So, okay, what's another body part? Elbow. Okay, let's go with that. And then what's a really weird animal? And then I got a notification that my wife just ate salmon for dinner at a friend's place. So, yeah, there you go.
Horribly uncreative. Why don't you think of, like, personality type for me, what I am?
I was just kind of happy that I basically created the Kaiser Soze of Sonic DeviantArt characters.
I don't know who that is, and I don't care to find out.
I don't know if you're joking. I really don't.
No! Why would I know that? What is it?
Are you saying you've never heard of Kaiser Soze?
I don't even care to even answer the question anymore because I've already done it.
I know you don't know who that is, and that just makes the joke so much funnier.
Great. Beautiful opening. Hello, my top lane Torchics. Galen told me to say that. I don't know what it means. Friends, thank you for joining us today on the Nintendo Everything Podcast, episode 86. My name is Oni Dino. I'm a little unhinged today. Bear with me. But
to
with
be
me,
fair,
I
that's...
also have... I have to introduce you, bro! Ice is thin. Do you really want to dance on it, okay? With me, I have a man who ruined his own intro. The worst patron at my ramen restaurant. It's Galen. Speak now.
It can't be any worse than that ramen we had in the last day we were together in Japan.
What? Where did we go for ramen?
We had the place when we were on the way to the airport, and it had the anchovies in it, and it was way too, like, overbalanced with its flavors.
Oh, was that in... It was, like, right outside of Shinjuku Station.
Yeah. It was not the greatest of ramen.
Yeah. And I like anchovies, but it was just... It wasn't great. It was too oily. Usually you can order your... Anyway, this is wonderful. Yeah, that was not good ramen.
Yeah.
Friends, we have a news-packed episode this week. So much stuff to talk about. Min Min, Animal Crossing, Pokemon Unite, the PokeMoba, and so much more, like a whole bunch more. It's news heavy.
Yeah. I'm really excited because we're going to be talking about, you know, Pokemon and...
Why are you repeating? What is this?
Because it's a setup for a joke. So.
Oh, okay. Everyone ready? Joke number 1.
No, moment's gone. I'll say it later.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the anticipation is just going to be exploding asshole.
What?
Sorry, I don't know why I randomly went with the Louis C.K. joke, but it seemed appropriate.
You know what? It's 2020. Louis C.K. is not very appropriate.
You know what? Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
You're the one who said this was an
answer.
unhinged... Hey, you're the one who said that this is going to be an unhinged episode, so I'm trying to meet you at that level.
You don't have to meet me at my level. You will lose. Friends, we are a weekly show. I lose my sanity bit by bit, and this week is a rough one. Please give us a rating on iTunes. That is the best way to support our show. We don't ask for money. This is a free show. We do it weekly. Oh my god. share us with your best friend. Share us with your enemy. Hurt somebody by sharing them this stuff that we do every week, whatever it is.
And remember to rate and comment about just how unhinged we are.
This is the Adventure Log segment of the show, where we talk about the games we've been playing this week. Galen, that's your name. I thought I just said my own name. I don't know why. I like when the words came out of my mouth, I was like, that's wrong.
It's giving me insight into how to proceed.
Where can listeners interact with you on social media?
If you want to send me a message on Twitter, you can do so at Mobius087 and just, give me encouragement to kind of give you an easier time. I think I've been a little bit too much for you lately. I should pull back and tone it down a bit.
For me?
Yeah.
Do not even. Okay.
Oh,
I
okay.
eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
I apologize. I guess I won't tone it down then.
Galen, the setup was there. You were supposed to say, you eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
I mean, you are the epitome of a 90s kid, so that was when that joke was relevant last.
It's still a good joke. Gold jacket, green jacket, who gives a shit? I share my jackets on Twitter.
For those of you playing the home game, that was a joke from
No, you don't need to explain
Happy
the joke.
Gilmore.
No, you don't explain the joke, Galen.
No, I feel like that needed to be explained.
Listen, I'm trying to keep this on the rails.
Where do you try to keep it on the rails?
Oh my god. The train station that is my Twitter, at Oni_Dino. If you can't tell, I've had a little bit of a rough week this week, so...
It was a little melodic there for a little bit.
Haven't played too much video games this week. I played a little bit of Xenoblade. That's about it. Not too much more to say there. So I defer it to you, Galen. What have you been playing this week?
Well, I also have not been playing a whole lot of games, but what I did manage to get some time in for was a little bit more of Bloodroots.
Oh, I did play more Bloodroots too.
Yeah. So to recap those who missed us talking about it last week, Bloodroots is an action-packed run-and-gun type game. This game is made by our good friends over at Paper Cult, and it is highly stylized, and I have really been enjoying the pick-up-and-play atmosphere of it, and getting a little bit of that stylized injection in just throughout the week. It's been a lot of fun.
Are you doing drugs? Is this what it is? I knew it. I knew you were doing drugs.
I would be okay if this was my video game drug, so.
You ever been addicted to a video game? Tell me about it.
Yes, I've been addicted to several video games.
Destiny, right? And Bloodroots. Tell me about Bloodroots.
Yeah. So, this game does a fantastic job at blending together a story that seems interesting but not too self-important at the same time. It's just the right amount peppered in there to keep me entertained while I go through the gameplay loop of getting those perfect runs in.
And how frequently do you get a perfect run, though? I question that, and I'm gonna put
it's never happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't get me wrong, it has not happened, but the game is in the chase. That made sense to someone. Anyway, recapping the gameplay a little bit, you basically go from various locations as you try to avenge your town's murder and your supposed, almost untimely murder. Trying to take down these 4 different baddies. I think I read somewhere where it was described as a weird Western motif, which I kind of agree with.
It does have like that Tarantino spaghetti Western feel, because Tarantino draws a lot of inspiration from spaghetti Westerns.
So to recap the gameplay really briefly, you just go from section to section, and every single enemy that you fight can be taken down in 1 to 2 hits. With that said, though, I got into my first couple of boss battles here, and that's what kind of surprised me by it, because it really takes that formula and that setup that they've been making and kind of turns it on its head a little bit.
In what way?
Have you gotten to the boss or any of the boss battles yet?
I assume that I am just before the first boss. I'm really, really bad at this game. That's my experience with it. Is like, I want this to be a game for me, but no matter how badly I want this to be for me, it's just not my style. I'm bad at it, and I don't have fun when I have to do repeat runs.
Gotcha. See, and for me, I'm definitely into that kind of turn your mind off and just like go with the flow of what's happening in the game.
Right. And that is you.
Yeah, and the fact that when you die, it automatically like picks you directly back up, and it's so smooth to jump into that is really nice. But as I was saying, the boss battles kind of change that formula up on its head a little bit. The first boss that you come to, you end up starting to run away, or you have to chase him down because he's trying to like float away and throw stuff at you. He does not die in just one hit, so I mean, yeah, he's a boss, I kind of get that, but it also turns into like a Temple Runner-esque agility game as you're running up the screen trying to catch him and avoid pitfalls, avoid the attacks that he's making, avoid the other enemies that he's dropping around to attack you.
It sounds more like a platformer.
A little bit, yeah. It's more platform-esque. You can still pick up your various weapons. All the mechanics are still there, but that core idea of kill a person to the hit, move on to the next guy, that idea is completely abandoned.
That's cool, though, because it seems like it switches up the gameplay significantly. Yeah. Does it stick the landing, though? Does it like do it appropriately, or?
I felt like it did, yeah, because I mean, it still keeps the spirit of what the game is. I just thought it was a little unique that it was kind of changing its own rules a little bit for this fight without really giving you much more of a heads up on what's going on. A later boss battle that you get, it instead of that whole like chase him down temple running attitude, it becomes more of a bullet hell.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the main boss is in the center of the stage, and she twirls around and starts shooting a bunch of energy bolts in every single direction, and you have to dodge all of those attacks in order to knock out the shield generators just in order to get to her. And the boss beforehand, you had to hit him 3 different times in order to take him out. This one, you have to hit like 5 or 6 different times. So like the durability seems to be going up with every boss encounter that you're getting so far.
Man, that stuff sounds really appealing to me, and I wish that the game, I mean, this is just a personal thing. It's not like that the game is wrong. It's that it's me. I wish that the game were a little bit more that style or a bit more platformy, so that way I could get to those boss battles and experience that. You know, I'm gonna have to go back to this and try it a little bit more. Just gonna have to push through.
So some of the later levels do start to become more puzzles than they are just like Twitch-based, you know, action runners. What I also want to call out is that I am absolutely loving the kill shot animations as you finish each section. The boss finish animations on here are superb. They are so incredibly satisfying every single time. But I've been playing around with a lot of the different finishers that have been in there. I think one of my favorite is actually if you kill somebody with a fish.
What happens?
Basically, you jump up in the air and slam the fish over the guy's head, and he just like kind of stumbles around. He's like, oh, what's this thing? This is stuck. Now I can't go anything. Then this even bigger fish comes out of absolutely nowhere and eats the entire guy.
Oh, I bet that's Elbows the salmon.
Yeah.
That did not sound like you were slapping your elbow. I don't know if I'm going to leave that in the podcast. It was gross.
For those playing the Audible game, that was me hitting my elbow.
It's a podcast. Everyone is playing the Audibles. Oh my God, Galen, you frustrate me.
I see what you did there.
So Galen, I'm hearing that this game just does a whole bunch of exciting stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm really enjoying this game that I'm playing right now. So I've actually got a flight coming up, and I think I'm going to be busting this out on the airplane a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Excellent. So that was Bloodroots on the Nintendo Switch. Now it's time for spicy news.
Dun dun.
Da 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 da.
We always do that. I don't know where it comes from.
Terminator 2 is where it comes from.
No, I know, but like, why Terminator? Like,
Why the not? It's Terminator. So many news happening right now. A big PSA to everybody. There is a wishlist exploit on the Switch eShop where it's showing Nintendo 3DS games and Wii U games on the Switch eShop. So some people are like screenshotting it and being like, yo, Super Mario 3D World's being released on the Switch. Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric is being re-released on the Switch. So just FYI there that is not happening. Never happening.
It's weird. It has something to do with like making wish list posts off through the European eShop means that you can look it up on the Switch to be able to make those come through.
That's
personally
amazing.
I was really hoping that somebody would post Mega Man Battle Network coming for the Switch, because that would make me very excited and then heartbroken. If you want to hurt me, that's how you do it.
I don't care enough.
What do you care about lately?
Oh my god, I can't wait to watch the next Osgood Perkins movie. That's what I can't wait for. Because okay, all right. Before we even get into the news, I guess, because this is just the PSA. PSA number 2, pew, 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 out of nowhere. I watched The Black Coat's Daughter by Oz Perkins, the son of Anthony Perkins, who is in Psycho.
Okay.
And we were talking about Psycho on Twitter earlier this week, Galen.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Oz Perkins, super awesome director, and he wrote and directed The Black Coat's Daughter, which was a freaking excellent movie. Go into it knowing nothing. I don't know how to critique film, so I'm not even gonna like try and critique it, but it was awesome, very like atmospheric, very slow. This is definitely a close the blinds, put your phone down and like turn your phone off kind of thing, and let yourself get immersed in that atmosphere. It was very slow, and it was not like a typical horror movie, or I should say not like a modern horror movie with like lots of jump scares and loud sounds when there should be something scary. It was so unsettling. There was a moment that it was so tense. It was building up so much tension. I thought I was gonna throw up. It was awesome.
Really?
It was great. I loved that movie so much. Excellent ending too.
What was it called again? Black Coat's Daughter?
The Black Coat's Daughter. If anybody's seen that, talk to me about it on Twitter. I'm hyped up and I want to watch it again.
And that was the additional DLC. Now on to listener mail.
Oh man, if we were done with this episode in like 20 minutes, God, I'd be so happy. Yeah, let's do it. So, okay, follow us at NinEverything, NintendoEverything.com.
You're missing it. We need to talk about Smash Bros. And Pokemon, so that this week is different from last week, where we talked about Smash Bros. And Pokemon. Also, that was the joke that I wanted to make earlier in the episode, so that was it sneaking in there.
You could have just left it. You redeemed it and then you ruined it.
I thought that's why we called this my MO. That
Your
has a lot of layers.
Mobius operandi. Oh, pew, 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 pew. See, I'm outdoing you at every turn. That's why you can't be on my level. I'm Beta and you're VHS.
Wait, did you say you're Beta and I'm VHS?
Min Min is the brand new Smash Bros. Character announced this past week.
Okay.
Also, we have to call her Mian Mian. That's her real name.
Hey, I'll call it whatever I want because I called it yesterday or
Please.
last week.
You called it, I called it, everybody else called it. Like, she was a shoo-in for being the character.
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple of other options. I do think she's a very good fit. I will admit that I did miss the grappler aesthetic that I had originally predicted, but
That's because you predicted wrong.
I predicted wrong, but I totally called the ability to switch out the arms for the character mid-battle.
I totally said that.
You did not!
I don't know. Let's go back and listen to the tape.
Play back the beta tape.
And there it is. I was right.
What you called yourself? Did you call yourself Beta or VHS?
We need to move on. It's Mian Man in Smash.
Yes, she is in Smash. It's coming out a little bit later. I think they said the 29th,
which is Monday.
Yeah, so maybe I'll play that on the plane instead because it's right before my trip.
I still have not bought the second DLC pass.
Oh, I haven't either.
There's also 5 more characters still coming. I don't know about you, but when I saw that, I kind of let out a sigh like, oh, God, we're doing this still. Like, I just kind of forgot that there's 5 more.
Well, and I mean, Smash Bros. Is one of those games that even if they don't start coming out with new content about it, people are still going to be talking about it. People are still going to want to play it competitively. So why not keep the conversation going? It does get a little tiring if you're not invested into that atmosphere.
Yeah.
But honestly, I can't blame Nintendo for doing it because...
No, not at all. Yeah. It's totally a smart business decision. You'd want to turn away money, you know?
Mm-hmm. I do think after some point, like, the conversation of who's going to be the next Smash Bros. Character is going to kind of go down a little bit, so...
Hasn't gone down so far, though, so...
No.
Anyway, her moveset is pretty cool. She is definitely a mid to long range character, not good at the close range stuff, like we said.
No. Yes, absolutely. She does not have a counter, but she does have a reflect, which I feel is a little bit... It's a good compromise, and I like that.
Well, it's a good decision specifically for Mian Man because when she jumps in ARMS, the actual game, she's the only character that has a kick that can reflect back a punch.
Does she now?
Or not reflect back, but it does, it knocks it and then just like, it doesn't hit you.
Yeah.
By the way, you might hear some thunder happening on Galen's end.
Yep, that's all on my end.
There was a thunderstorm. Actually, there was a hailstorm right before we recorded on my end.
Let's stop talking about the weather.
Yes, it is the most uninteresting topic in the world. Let's talk about something way better. Smash Bros.
Yeah.
So Mian Man has a really cool gimmick. I don't know, gimmick, like unique trait. Both the A and the B button control the left and the right arm independently from each other, so she doesn't have like a typical B button special attack.
No. So, which I like. I like that they are playing around with these DLC characters to try to make them more unique and also try to experiment a little bit on different ways that they want to play and design characters going forward. I mean, we saw it a little bit with Hero. We saw it a little bit with Joker.
Mm-hmm. Terry Bogard especially, like he was really, really different. And sort of with Terry as well, she, Mian Man has taps and holds also on her A button for if you want to do a kick or if you want to do a long range punch. And that excites me so much because it's like, I'm excited to see what the next Smash Bros will be because this is really changing up like base inputs and like kind of the mechanics, the base mechanics of Smash.
Do you think they would ever want to go back and redo any of their old characters in whatever the next Smash Bros will be? Like,
I feel like the next Smash Bros has to be outrageously different. It can't be like another expansion onto what this one is because this one has so many characters. Nobody could ever realistically want this game again with more characters. You know what I mean? That's why I think it's so smart to put so many characters in here to be like, no, you're full as Sakurai shoves more food down your gullet. You're more ramen.
Yeah, we talked about ramen earlier in this episode too.
Well, I did because of Mian Man.
Oh, I see what you did there.
I have a whole delicate genius balance in my head and I'm doing a ballet and you're the one person at my recital.
Yeah, you have a genius within your head, but you also have to translate that through your mouth, and that's where things just go downhill from there.
You could have said downtown, and that would have been a little bit Little scandalous. I don't know what we're talking about.
We're talking about Smash Bros. And we're talking about, right now, ways that the franchise could possibly evolve with the way that they're redoing these characters.
I don't want to talk about that.
Well, that's fair. I do have one question kind of going off of that, though. Do you ever think that they would do a Smash Bros. With a 3D environment as opposed to
Like
this
that's
2D?
too different. That's too different.
That's breaking formula too much?
Yeah, they might as well just make a different fighting game.
That's fair.
I mean, ARMS is 3D.
Yeah, that's true.
But they also announced some Mii costumes, and they brought back Heihachi. I think Heihachi was in the Smash 4.
Yeah, he was in the last one.
I was a little sad to see that, though, because I was kind of hoping for Heihachi as a DLC fighter, because we don't have a fighter from Tekken.
Yeah, it's true. There's still time, but maybe it won't be Heihachi.
Yeah.
What's the bear?
I'm getting thunder on my end.
Well, there you go.
Somebody from Tekken has something to say. It might be Jin Kazama.
I was really surprised to see Fallout Boy.
Oh yeah, that was really cute. I like when they do Mii costumes where they completely change the face, because my problem with the Mii costumes is that the face always looks so screwed up. Like, they showed off the Squid Sisters, and I was like, oh cool, but their faces are a nightmare, bro.
Yeah, no, they absolutely are.
But yeah, Vault Boy, really cute, really great.
Mm-hmm. No, overall, this was like a good 30 minutes of Smash Bros. Footage. It reminded me about the game. It made me interested in Min Min.
Yeah. I like when they do these presentations where it's just like Sakurai explaining way too in depth about all of her inputs and stuff. That's what people want, you know? And
him doing his double controller fighting against himself thing.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Also, I liked at the beginning of it where he did this whole, this is my house. You're probably wondering why I have 2 TVs. It's because I like to have friends over, and I'm
filthy rich because all of you schmoes are buying Smash Bros.
Little bit. That was a little bit of a flex, Sakurai.
But anyway, it's a really cute presentation. I'm sure probably everybody's seen it that wants to see it, so check it out if you haven't. There's also a whole bunch of music. They put in 18 songs in total from ARMS, and 2 of them have new arrangements.
And I've always really liked the ARMS music, so I'm glad that they're putting a lot of it in here.
I have a feeling that they're going to be gearing up for an ARMS 2.
I would 100% be okay with that.
As long as it has like a genuine in-depth story mode, because that's what it would have made me continue to go back.
Mm-hmm. No,
Legs. We'll call it Legs.
I really wish that they would dive a little bit more into character stories and character origins, like almost in the way that they do with Overwatch. Just give more personality and understanding what you're doing about these characters while not necessarily needing to put it into the game.
Yeah, and even with the reveal trailer for Min Min in this presentation, they did like a comic booky kind of art style.
Yeah, that was fun.
I really liked that. I really like all of their reveal trailers for characters because they go with like a different art style each time. And I always think that that's just exciting and different each time. And that's what I really want, is I want to see exciting and different things, even if it's just like adjacent. It's not even like a big difference.
Yeah. Also, I like this pattern that they're doing when it comes to their reveal trailers, where they'll obviously show off what franchise is coming from, but it then becomes a huge brawl as to who actually gets the envelope.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that they're making that canon. Especially
when you know it's going to be from a certain series, like they did with Garo Densetsu, Fatal Fury. And just everybody is going after the invitation. It's great. Super great.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want them to do it every time, but when it does show up, it's appreciated.
Yeah. So Galen, I don't know about this Animal Forest. Why don't you tell me about the summer update in Animal Crossing?
You'll need to get your floaties in order for that to happen, because we're going to go swimming.
Swimming, huh? You're dropping the G's?
Yeah. That's how we do it in this place that's undisclosed and has thunder.
You've said it 1,000 times already where you live.
So yeah, this new update has ocean swimming. Comes with a couple of new items. You can dive down, collect more materials. They have a couple of new people that you can actually meet. Pascal the otter, who happens to give you different recipes that you can use for crafting. It just, in general, looks like they're adding more content to the actual game itself, which, considering that I feel like the Animal Crossing quote-unquote phase has kind of like died out since it's first launched.
It's simmered down for sure.
It's definitely simmered down, but I like that they are still adding more things to it and they're still trying to make it fresh. Like,
yeah,
when they do these updates, every single time I go, ooh, where's my Switch? Couple of things that I noticed from the trailer. One, it does look like you're going to be able to swim in the ocean, but there do seem to be barriers around the island as kind of like a safety net type thing.
Makes sense.
So that's how they're limiting you from going too far out. They also made a particular point to mention that this was ocean diving and not swimming in general, which makes me think that you are not going to be able to do swimming along the rivers or anything that you can create in the game, which I kind of like. I wish they would have allowed that, because you can definitely like make in-ground pools or just opening that up to the modding community and the people who create things in this game. It's taking a potential tool away from them, essentially.
Well, it's not taking it away. It's just not giving them a tool that you were hoping for.
No, that's fair. That's a better way to put it. But I also understand why they didn't, because there is still that gated aspect at the beginning of it of, okay, we're going to let you play around a little bit, and then we're going to let you build a bridge, and then we're going to let you vault over the rivers, that kind of thing. So I don't know how they're going to implement the swimming just yet, but I'm assuming it's some sort of like swimsuit that you'll have to wear in order to jump in. I don't know if that was just an aesthetic choice they made in the trailer or what, but we'll find that out soon.
I saw a few people complaining online, like, why wasn't this in the base game? And this game is unfinished and stuff like that. And
no, I'm gonna argue against that.
Absolutely
right now.
agree. I mean, I agree with Galen. Yes, I argue against it because this is part of their marketing. They're doing these seasonal updates and they're rolling out content like this to keep the game fresh. It's a marketing decision. If you don't like it, that's fine. But it's not that the game is unfinished. You're being ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not that it's unfinished, and it's not necessarily that they're withholding the information on purpose. I think it has more to do with the fact that because seasons are so integral within this game itself, it makes more sense to release these kind of things at certain times. So,
well, awesome. Is this the first time that they've put swimming into Animal Crossing?
I believe so. I'm not as up to date on the Animal Crossing franchise as a whole. This is the first time I've really dived into it myself. But
that was a good one.
Thanks. Are you proud of me? Do I get a gold star?
I'm not, because that was a coincidence that you said that.
Sure it was.
I can tell it was a coincidence because of the way that it was so effortless.
Did also want to kind of call out one more thing. They did say near the end of it that there is another summer update that is coming near the end of, I think they said early August. They didn't specifically say what was going to be in that, but they did showcase a bunch of fireworks in the background, so I'm assuming it's going to be just that. They're going to have fireworks that you can watch at night, which kind of coincides with a lot of, the festivals in Japan that are around that time.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense to me.
You're going to get your frickin' villagers, everybody wearing like yukata and jinbei and eating festival foods and watching fireworks. And that is just some of my favorite time of the year.
Yeah.
Getting drunk at like 8 a.m, eating food, passing out by 11, waking back up and doing it all over again.
Well, and it's funny because a lot of those clothes are actually in the game already. So it's already there.
Yeah. And the other big news this week, the brand new Pokemon game, Pokemon Untie.
Yep.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That was a typo. Unites!
League of Pokemon. Or would it be Poda? I'm not quite sure.
Poda?
Poda 2. Poder.
This is Pokemon Unite, a PokeMoba on mobile and Switch with crossplay. It is a game that the Pokemon Company has partnered with Tencent to create. Pokemon X Tencent, a match made in money heaven.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, the reason that they were building this up and they're like, we have a special new project, is not only because it's a new genre for Pokemon and it is a new step for Pokemon in terms of what kind of game it is, but this is a huge partnership that's going to net them lots of money. So even though I would have wanted them to switch around Pokemon Snap and Pokemon Unite and let Pokemon Snap be like the big announcement, Pokemon Snap is a tiny little game compared to this. This game is gonna flow them so much money dollars. It's gonna be huge in China. It's got Tencent behind it, so it's gonna get right past the government, no problem whatsoever. This is just a money decision, and honestly, I'm being really cynical about it, but it's honest. So
yeah, I am a little. Your Pikachu.
What?
All of this is
Wobbuffet.
staying in the podcast.
Yes.
Use Harden. Anyway, I am kind of curious as to why they decided to make this announcement separate from their big Pokemon announcement before.
Oh, I just said.
Well, what would have been both?
No, I'm leaving that in. It was funny.
God damn it. What would have been both? No, what I'm wondering is both of these announcements that they made last week and this week were only about 25-30 minutes long.
Altogether.
They could they could have very easily compiled all this, even with the extra details of explaining what Pokemon Unity was. Into one package. So
because bro, we're talking about it for 2 weeks in a row now. That's what they're doing. They're stretching it out.
I mean, I guess
that's what video games do, and that's what media does, because media is nowadays, there's so much when it comes to video games. There's more than there's ever been. TV, movies, everything. So
especially
everything
around
is
this time of year too.
Absolutely.
So.
Everything is just dying to try and get a bit of your attention right now. So that's what they're doing.
A Bitcoin of your attention. So yeah, it looks like Pokemon Unity is going to be a 5v5
Unite. I'm pretty sure
style.
It's called. It's not called Unity.
Oh, Unite. You're correct. It is going to be a 5v5 lane style battle game. So think of League of Legends, Dota 2, all of those MOBAs. Smite.
I literally have no idea what any of them are. I'm so removed from all of this.
Yeah, I'm the only MOBA game that I really got into was League of Legends, and that was for maybe a hot month, and then I dropped it realizing that, I'm just gonna spend money on this if I keep going forward, and I don't want to do that.
That's what they want. That's what they want you to do. Get addicted.
Yeah.
Pull the slot machine thingy.
Mm-hmm.
The lever.
I did notice that they made a particular effort to try to play up the esports mentality of it.
Bro, before we even get into that, we got to start off with the little trailer reveal that they had.
Oh, yeah.
With the awful, whoa, 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 whoa music. I hate that kind of music so much, and they put it in every Pokemon ad now, and it drives me nuts.
I was about to say, it's not the first time they've used that.
Yeah, it's getting real bad. I don't think people are appreciating it enough.
Whoa.
Stop it.
That should be the title of this episode. Just, whoa.
So, gameplay wise, as you already said, in addition to that, you are going to catch Pokemon, evolve, and learn new moves all very quickly, then do battle with the opposing team.
Yeah, well, and it kind of plays into the whole MOBA style. With traditional games like League of Legends, you have your armies that are coming at each other, and there are separate defense towers that are set up that kill the other team's enemies. So it would be a complete stalemate, except you as the heroes get a chance to run around and attack the other enemies before they get to the tower, so then your team can make an advancement, or you can attack their
capture
towers
ground.
Exactly, yeah. And it's separated into the 3 different lanes. You have your top lane, your middle, your bottom lane, and then you also have somebody who plays a role of what's called a jungler, which kind of like bounces between the different lanes, but there's also elements that are outside of those lanes that if you kill a certain enemy, they give a buff for your entire team. So it's a very strategic, we want to kill this person at this time so we can make a push on this particular lane, ultimately to get to the end. Honestly, the Pokemon style and the Pokemon franchise fits perfectly within that motif.
Yeah, honestly, I think that the game is a really cool idea, and I think it's great for Pokemon to try out a new genre like this. All of it, sounds nice, just not for me kind of thing. So I'm cool with it.
From a balance aspect, I am going to be a little bit curious as to how they handle some of the traditional elemental attributes of the game. Because, like, in the trailer, they showed I can't remember, whatever the Pidgeotto wannabe Firebird. I can't remember what it's actually called, but it was a fire-type
His name is Charizard.
Pokemon. Not Charizard.
Who cares? It's fine. Whatever.
I'm going to Pika slap you.
It was a Pokemon.
Yeah. But no, it was a flying type that completely decimated this Pikachu that was running away from it. And I'm just sitting there and it's like, wait, isn't that supposed to be super effective the other way around?
Right,
so
right. I wonder if they're not even going to really include that kind of stuff in there.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time. And
right.
You look at Pokken Tournament?
Pokken Tournament, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think elements were included in with that either.
Yeah, which is a shame because, that's the elemental weaknesses and stuff is one of the shining attributes, I think, of Pokemon.
Oh, exactly. And especially when you're trying to deal with this rock, paper, scissors mentality that a MOBA has. Because one of the big things is
too many layers, and that's what they're worried about with the balancing.
Yeah, I can see them taking that out just to kind of make it a little bit easier for, the people who just finished brushing their teeth to go and play it.
But anyway, they talked about like having close range moves, long range, special moves called Unite moves. And they explained all the mechanics and like showed off plenty of footage. And I was like, oh, okay, this sounds fun. This sounds cool. It's not for me, but And then right after that, like halfway into the thing, they were like, you might be confused on how the game plays. And I'm like, no, not really, bro. You just explained it. And you just showed, you just did a good job of showing it off. They're like, let's show you a little bit more. And then it was a whole 6 fake minutes of a match between people with esports announcers included, and it was all just really, really real.
They made this huge bit about introducing everybody on a team, and then they went through the entire battle in the span of like, I don't know, minute and a half tops.
And those are like 40-minute battles, aren't they? With typical MOBAs.
Yeah, traditionally it's like 15 to 20 minutes depending on the skill levels that you're playing at. Sometimes it can be more or less, but yeah, it's traditional MOBAs usually last around that long.
But as soon as that started and they were doing the esports thing, I was like, what are we doing?
Nope.
I wanted to order myself an Uber, but like an Uber for getting murdered.
Isn't that just a regular Uber?
That's dark web Uber. I wanted to die. I was like, oh God, how embarrassing. That whole thing was just absolutely everything that does not interest me about gaming. The whole personality, celebrity of it, And I mean, I'm not saying it shouldn't exist or whatever, but I just can't help but like cringe when I see a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. Also, because they tried to do the whole social media influencer as their choices of people who are playing, and I didn't recognize a single one of them.
And I think I've talked about it on the podcast before about how much I don't like the influencer culture thing. It is absolutely bad for everybody involved. It's bad for the consumer. It's bad for journalism. Well, I guess it's good for the publishers, though, because they just get like free praise left and right without any criticism or any critique on their games. They just get some kid who's like, oh my God, Ubisoft gave me a free game. And it's like, bro, it's $60. Like, imagine if you did work, like you would get more than $60 typically. So you just got a free game. But then they're like, oh, I love it so much because they gave it to me for free. It's like, no, critique that shit. Like,
well, and also the really bad part about that is that influencers make a job out of that kind of stuff. There's usually a lot of like money deals that go into them sponsoring these kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's the gross thing. It's it's a bit of a don't hate the player, hate the game kind of thing. So I don't really blame the people themselves. It's just that the people themselves who want to be celebrities and stuff, it always just comes out gross. And then they're always like, hey, and today's stream is sponsored by Heroes of the Legend of Mythical Quest. And then, they play that forever just so they can advertise it to you and people fall into it. And it's like, why am I watching advertisements or paying to be advertised to? And it's really bad. Influencer culture is really bad, man.
Which reminds me, this episode is brought to you by... Let's go ahead and join our Discord for that free...
Is that a real game? You said that too easy. That's
God, yeah.
Well, don't say a real game. I'm going to edit it out.
No, okay, full disclosure, it's not a thing.
Well, no, of course, yeah, we're not sponsored by... the only thing that we would ever be sponsored by, we would always tell you or whatever, and like that, it's only stuff that we believe in.
No, it's
like
a huge joke. Yeah, it's a huge joke in the community because...
Stop saying it! I have to edit it out!
Because that game fully pushed themselves and just showed themselves out to anybody who would accept their money.
But here's the thing,
and just
bro.
oversaturated themselves.
But here's the thing, is that like you're saying their name and you're going to give them free publicity, so that's why I got to edit it out.
But it's saying it as a joke, as in a negative. Does that still count?
Yes, absolutely. That's an entire way of marketing.
But if they get the joke... All right, hang on a second. If they get the joke
Galen,
and they hear it,
listen,
then the
I'm going to ask
is
you to
null
leave.
and void.
You need to close the coffin and I'll nail it shut for you. How about that?
Moving on.
This episode also brought to you by Nerdbox.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a box of video games sent to your house for the low price of $99.55. Plus tax and shipping.
They're all, bloatware games that you would find for $5 at the local Walmart.
That's not true. This one game, 20 games in one, Galen. What a deal.
6 of them are the same.
We're also sponsored by Game Book.
Oh wait, hang on. Like somebody writing about games, or is it like a strategy guide type thing?
No, it's like 100 blank pages. Also known as a journal.
People would still buy that. Don't lie.
I know.
Just like you people at home, if you subscribe to our Patreon, we'll send you
We don't
free
have a Patreon. Don't
everything.
tease people. We have to move on. Anyway, look how esports we are. Pokemon Unite.
Yep.
It felt really forced, that one segment. It just felt really forced. Like the awful shooters with fake team speak in the presentations.
Oh, yeah. No, that's 100% what this was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, it kind of shows where they want to take their franchise. Like, they're willing to branch out in a bunch of different ways to find out what sticks. And esports is still kind of like this untested ground of what's organic and what isn't. So,
and that's really interesting too, because I, especially in recent years, have really been feeling like the Pokemon Company probably wishes that they were not involved with Nintendo. Like the Pokemon Company, I think, is like technically a joint venture between Creatures Incorporated, Nintendo, and Game Freak. If not something more, like I have a very basic understanding of it. But if they were not involved with Nintendo, they'd be like full mobile. Like since Nintendo, opened up the mobile floodgates.
Do you think we would see them on a different console other than Nintendo.
Yeah, but I mean, like right now, I think they'd be focusing full mobile now. Like they just love money, you know?
They do love money.
It's such a profitable series. It's nuts.
It's all those Poké Dollars. You can buy so many lemonades with that.
I don't get that. I'm too tired, man. Ultimately, a cool idea for a game, just not for me. So not for me.
I'll keep an eye on it because I'm familiar with how that genre goes.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear your take on it, Galen.
Yeah. The big thing is going to be, can they keep it balanced and still keep it competitive?
Well, it's still in development because there's no announced window.
Yep. So we'll see more.
Yes. And more of what we will see is Curse of the Moon 2.
That segue brought to you by...
I don't know what that is, but I'm editing it out just in case it's real. Stop doing that. Stop giving me extra work. Curse of the Moon is a game that I loved deeply and dearly. Made by the amazing Inti Creates. That game was like as close to perfection as it possibly could be for classic Castlevania.
Oh yeah.
Now we're getting a straight up sequel to Curse of the Moon called Curse of the Moon 2.
Yep. Still keeping that 8-bit aesthetic. You have multiple characters that you can play as and switch between in real time when you're playing it. The game looks fun.
Yes. It's very much like the first game. Zangetsu does return, and then you have three... I don't know if you would really call them new characters, but they were not in the first Curse of the Moon. Dominique, Robert, and Hachi. I haven't played... God, what's the other one? The Shadow of the Moon? What the f*** is that one called? The one that you played.
Oh, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night?
Ritual of the Night.
Yeah.
I thought that Curse of the Moon was a prequel to Curse of the Night. What is that called?
Ritual of the Night.
Ritual of the Night. These names suck.
Better than Remembrance.
So I really don't know. Or wait, what was the other one called? Not Remembrance. It's forgettable. What the is it called?
Returnal.
Returnal. That's right, because it sounded like maternal.
It sounded desperate. That's what it sounded like.
Desperate weirdos. So Curse of the Moon 2, keep an eye on it. I can't wait for it. Multiple pathways, all ally specific, lots of replay value. The first one was incredible. Play the first one as well. Inti Creates are amazing. They're masters at retro style 2D games.
Yeah. I love that one of the characters that they showcase that you can play as is basically I just called him Train Knight.
Oh yeah, he's a big old mech. He's like in a Magitech armor suit.
Yeah.
We also got No More Heroes 3 gameplay with Suda51's big old face right in front of it.
Wait, no. We got like maybe 50% gameplay. The other 50% was just Suda51.
And it was like a really terrible image of his face too. I forgot what the person said or even who it was, but somebody in our comment section on the website said that like Suda sat really far away and they zoomed the camera in and then they did something else to it or something like that to make it like intentionally look like super shitty. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. Suda knows exactly what he was doing. And so anyway, the footage of the game was playing behind him and it was really hard to see. You couldn't really tell what was going on. But in terms of like the UI and stuff, it looks really familiar to the first two mainline No More Heroes games. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. I was a big fan of the first one, never got a chance to play the second, but I've seen a couple of videos of the series, especially from that game.
You didn't play Travis Strikes Again, did you?
No, never got a chance to.
What?
Although
the
next time we hang out, I fully want to run through that game with you.
We should, yes.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. It's just I want to play the game with someone, not just play it on my own.
Right,
so.
Right. You want to be abused. That's fine. I can arrange that.
Do I have to pay? Do I like leave the money on the counter?
Always. And leave a tip.
See the money up front.
Yeah. So in this gameplay, Travis was like fighting kind of a larger enemy, possibly a boss. And the camera was definitely pulled back a little bit more than in the first two No More Heroes games. So I'm wondering if this was specifically for this fight that the camera was pulled back more, or if this is just going to be like, this is the new camera placement and fighting style for No More Heroes 3.
Some sadistic part of me, or masochistic part of me, is really hoping that this was actual gameplay footage, including Suda51 there. Like, when the boss fight starts, Suda just, like, pops up.
All day long.
Right?
All day.
Like, break every fourth wall. I'm totally okay with this. Just make it happen.
But the gameplay does seem to be very reminiscent of the first two games, which, you know, we should be expecting. But after the sort of side story that Travis Strikes Again was, I think a lot of people were like, okay, you know, what is going to be different? What is going to be the same? So it looks like it's going to be more similar than anything, which is fine because we haven't seen that gameplay in a really long time. So it's fine.
Yeah, no.
It could have been a more colorful location, though, that they tried to show off because it was very murky brown and not excitingly at all.
Well, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was just, hey, we want to remind people, and this is what we have polished and put together at the moment, so.
Can't wait for that game to come out in 2021. It's not coming out this year for sure.
Yeah. Like, didn't they even make a joke about that
when
they were talking about it?
Yes. When they announced 2020, they're like, you think you can make that release date? Like, what are you talking about?
That was also, like, pre-coronavirus.
Yeah. And now everybody has the coronavirus scapegoat, all the game developers, and they're like, oh, yep, got the Roni.
Got the Roni Dino.
Roni Dino. I forget it every time.
You know, every time you start this episode and you're just completely, like, frazzled and hectic, that's what you got. You got the Roni Dino.
In more third-party news, ATLUS employs more restrictive online sharing for Catherine Furubodi for Nintendo Switch. So this appears to be like Persona 5 on PlayStation 5, where they were like, okay, you can't share any videos of it online or past a specific point, and you can't share images of it because of spoilers and junk like that.
Yeah.
This is absolute BS.
Having played the original Catherine, I can see how they would want to kind of pull back and shy away from those big reveals kind of happening. But on the other end, this is a game that originally came out for like the 360 and the PS3. So the statute of limitation on those spoilers is kind of like out.
There are so many reasons why this is absolute BS, that being like the last of them. The first one is that what other game does this? You know, what other company does this for their games? And the only thing I can think of that is this restrictive is ATLUS with Persona and Catherine, because they didn't even do this for Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
I do know that there are a couple of anime-esque games that have put blocks in particular.
Oh, there was Kill la Kill.
Yeah. So, also, oh god, what was it? Dragon Ball Kakarot, I want to say. They put a couple of restrictions on there at key moments in the story.
I mean, I think that that's honestly nonsense, but if they're just doing it for like key moments, then, you know, that's one thing, or if it's a whatever. But like, this is the whole game past a specific point all the way through to the ending. And like you said, it was originally for the PS3 and 360. This is just an updated like port. And plus this game, this exact game has been out in Japan, has been out on the PS5, and it's mind-boggling. And it's, I think, really upsetting because it pushes like kind of like the control that they do actually have over it, because I don't think that it should be that much control should be up to them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, and not only that, like, Nintendo was really notorious for this back in the days of the Wii and the Wii U, because they did this whole thing where anytime anybody would try to showcase anything from their games, they would come out with like, hey, you can't show that content, you have to block it down. And obviously it didn't work. Right.
Well, also, this is two totally different companies, though, that we're talking about and who are putting in these restrictions.
I know, but I'm bringing this up because Nintendo showcased that kind of a mentality doesn't work, and they've since gone back and like really kind of changed the way that they're approaching things.
Yeah, and that was only also through the medium of YouTube as well that Nintendo was doing that. That was like the YouTube creator program that they tried to put together, and then everybody was like, "This is stupid," and then they just removed all restrictions now.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, the signs are there.
And the excuse, too, is always spoilers from the companies, which is so stupid. It's such a spoiler boogeyman nonsense thing.
If you're worried about spoilers, don't re-release a 5-6-year-old game.
If not even older, man. Like, it's older than that, I think. But, like, spoilers, I would love to actually know how much that actually influences people's decisions to buy games. I think that any publicity is good publicity when it comes to getting games out there, whether it's getting footage, getting reviews, streaming, all that stuff. Like, I hate this. I think that this is so awful.
Because here's the other thing. If somebody goes and they says, hey, you can go ahead and showcase my game. You can put up trailers and whatnot and your own gameplay, but don't play past a certain point. There's going to be a lot of people. The idea of people who follow these kind of long form streams, they're not going to want to play this game and then leave everybody hanging at a certain point.
There's also, I mean, I want to say more often than not, I can really not even think of, for me, this is just speaking for me, I cannot think of one game that I was like, oh, I'll watch that instead of playing it. You know, even if it is a narrative-based game.
Yeah, honestly, I can kind of see that happening with Catherine, especially if you're, because it is such a, Catherine is such a weird clash of ideas. It is this heavy narrative-driven social experience.
Yeah, but I mean, like, regardless of any form of gameplay or anything like that, even with like freaking visual novels, people stream those and play those. Like, and that's, you know, purely the gameplay is choices and reading, and that's it, right? Catherine is a step up from a visual novel in that there's puzzles in it. Push block, pull block puzzles. So the whole thing is that, like, it doesn't matter what your gameplay is. There's no defense for this, in my opinion. Especially with spoilers and stuff like that. It's just, I don't like what precedent this is setting for who has the control here.
Yeah.
Like, I know nothing about law, and I would love to know somebody who's involved in law to give their opinion on this.
I'll look into that.
Oh, you with bird law over there, you're gonna look into it?
Yeah. I'm sorry, that's Birdman.
And next, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered, the game that I think was supposed to
coming out.
It was supposed to come out in like January, and then they delayed it, and then there was coronavirus, and they're like, oh, new excuse, and now it's coming out, I think, in August. And
like
they
mid to late August, I think.
And they did a really cool thing, though. It's not just like, okay, now the game is coming out. They are releasing a Lite version, Square Enix is. So, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, the whole game coming out, but then also on August 29th is Lite, the Lite version. This is where you can try out the first 3 dungeons with up to 4 friends in online play. And you'll also be able to play with those that have the full game. Your save data can be carried over as well when you buy the full game. And if the person hosting the game purchased the full version, then those with the Lite version can actually play through all 13 dungeons of the game.
I think this is a fantastic compromise for not being able to plug in a Game Boy Advance.
Well, I mean, even regardless, even if this didn't exist, it was still like, okay, cool, I can play online with people that have the game, and then there's just it's gonna fix the problem that the the GameCube version had, and that was that you needed all these adapters and stuff, and it was local play and everything, so just online play alone solves that problem. This is gonna create a huge influx of people online playing a free version. And it's such an interesting marketing strategy. I can't think of any other game that has done this, because it's like
absolutely.
Download play, but way more generous.
Yeah. Well, on top of that, I also think they mentioned something about if you want to, you could play with your Android or iOS devices in addition to crossplay with the PS4 and the Switch?
Yeah,
Like,
it's coming out on iOS.
that's a pretty big. Yeah, that's a pretty big net to cast.
Yes, it like originally it was supposed to come out on iOS, Android, PS4, and Switch, and it was going to have crossplay between all of them. I played it at Tokyo Game Show last year when I met with Square Enix, and
Back when that was a thing.
yeah, and we actually did do crossplay with people on PS4 and Switch and phones. And it was really cool to be sitting there and playing that with 4 different people in the party.
That's really cool.
It worked pretty well. And I assume that it is working even better now, I'm hoping, after all this time, after basically an entire year. But anyway, I think that this is absolutely fantastic, and I think it's very, very generous and pro-consumer to have this kind of thing. Highly,
100%.
highly encouraging everybody to, even if you're just like sort of interested, download when that Lite version comes out, download it to send a message to Square Enix that, hey, this is a marketing strategy that we do want as a consumer. Like, it's not a free-to-play nonsense game. It's not, it's not like, okay, everybody needs to own a copy, including local play. Everybody needs to own a copy. This is super generous. Like, even if they were just like, oh, here's a Lite version so you can play locally with other people on other systems. Like, no, this is amazing. This is really great.
Yeah. Now, Crystal Chronicles is one of those games that I have the same problem with it that I did with Tales of Symphonia.
You're bad at the game.
It looks like it's a fantastic game. I really wanted to get into it, but every time I played it, it was always playing with other people. And
that's the worst part. Other people.
Well, yeah, how many times... Oh, this is your first time playing? You get to be the Chalice bitch.
Exactly.
So I'm very happy to be able to get a second chance to play this game, and I love how easy and convenient they are making it for people to kind of jump into this.
Yes. And on that note, you and I should play this game when it comes out.
100%, yes.
And all the people listening, if you guys want to play with me too, let's do it. We'll do some cooperative PvE.
You got it.
Come follow me on Twitter so that way we can
Dibs
stay in
not the
contact on
Chalice
it.
bitch.
Galen will always be it.
I don't know. I'll cast spells.
And then lastly, very quickly, the opposite of art was announced with The World Ends With You anime.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I don't have any skin in the game when it comes to Twooey.
Yeah, I mean, I played it back for the DS. It was fun. I haven't heard about this game for a hot decade.
People are
but
always talking about it, and there was a Switch version of it as well.
Not too long ago, right?
A couple of years ago. I want to say maybe it was even in 2017, maybe 2018, but I think 2017 maybe.
I remember it coming out sooner than that, but okay.
And we're expected to hear more information about this at Anime Expo Digital next week. The art for The World Ends With You was supposed to be on the lanyards for Anime Expo when it was going to be a physical event.
I feel like The World Ends With You is the anime equivalent to Nightmare Before Christmas, in the sense where people watched it when they were a kid.
Apt.
And they have just absolutely blown it out of proportion in a lot of ways.
I've never gotten into it. You really wanted me to get into it, and I just didn't like anything about it. I wanted to, but and especially now that I'm just like really tired of Nomura, and this is the most Nomura thing second to Kingdom Hearts, and I'm just like can't get into it.
The belt game is relatively tame in this one, I will say that.
Well, look forward to the anime. Belts are going to be everywhere, and it's going to be more of that everything is everything, nothing is everything, that old nonsense. It's going to suck. Sorry. Lots of people are excited about this.
Yeah.
I'm not shitting on your parade.
Hey, I'm excited to see a video game medium make a transition to another art form. Anytime that happens, I feel like it holds good potential to it.
Ninjala's got an anime YouTube thingy happening.
Yeah. I read something about like Ninjala hit 1 million users on its first day, so it's giving out some free stuff to everybody logged on.
Yeah, let's mention that. I actually was going to put that in the docket, but I was like, we were talking about too many things right now. But yeah, Ninjala is out right now. It's free to play. It's got microtransaction nonsense in it, of course, so I'll play it, but I'm just not super excited about it. And yeah, in the first day, 1 million downloads plus, which is great. That's, good for them.
Yeah. That's a lot of gum no jutsu.
Is that a One Piece and Naruto joke?
It's yes, but it's actually related because where they get their ninja powers is from the special ninja gun that they developed.
Yeah, I was reading and translating an interview on Ninjala, and I was like, okay.
It's odd.
It's cool. It's a really cool concept. It's just that the free-to-play thing has soured me on it. It's just...
yeah.
I'm gonna check it out, but it's just like free to play. Okay, back of the line you go. Get the in the back of the line for me.
I may have some more opinions on free to play and the whole seasonal-esque approach to video games because I've started playing Destiny a little bit more, but I might talk about that in next episode. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it next episode.
Yeah, if you guys want to hear me talk about my hot take on seasonal approaches to games,
send him a hate-filled email.
Shoot me all of the hate-filled emails.
Now on to additional DLC, where we recommend you something that we saw when we stared into the internet.
Yes, it's our favorite place to stare.
Is it?
Well, staring anywhere else is just rude.
That's not true.
It's rude not to stare?
Listen, the internet has both given me new life and ruined my old one. It's not my favorite place to stare.
The internet giveth life and taketh it away.
Good.
Oni, talk about your additional DLC first.
I got 2 additional DLCs to recommend for you because, as coincidence would have it, 2 of my favorite, lovely, good YouTube boys of Europe, the country that is Europe, Thor High Heels and Ragnaroks, they both released videos talking about some of FromSoft's older games. FromSoft, of course, everybody knows them as the Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Sekiro, like those games. Before Dark Souls 1 and all that stuff got really popular, they made a bunch of different kinds of games. And one of them was Kuon. Kuon was a game that I bought, actually, didn't really care for, and I eventually sold it when I was getting rid of a bunch of games when I was moving.
Okay.
Kuon is think of a lot of the mechanics of Dark Souls and mixed with survival horror, with a whole bunch of like Shintoism, Japanese stuff.
Okay.
That's what Ragnaroks' video is on, is an entire video dedicated to Kuon. It is also one of the most expensive PS2 games ever, and wow, do I regret selling it.
Please tell me you did not trade it into GameStop.
No, I've never traded in anything there. I traded it at a local store. I always do local stores. I think actually in the same day, because I don't trade in stuff very often, but that one day I was getting rid of just like a whole bunch of stuff. I traded in Fire Emblem for the GameCube and Wii and Kuon. So that's like several $100s that I just kissed away right there.
Gamer.
Please. Galen, you can't even spell Fire Emblem.
I feel your pain. F-Y-R-E.
F-E-S-T. And I walked into the office ready to Crom's. And then the other video that I'm recommending is from Thor High Heels. This is about a whole bunch of FromSoft's weird old games, including one of them being Kuon. And both of these guys are just some of my favorite people on YouTube. Just cool styles of videos, really enjoyable, really genuine. Check them out. I've recommended them both before. Don't miss it. Galen, what do you got to recommend? You can't follow it up.
Well, I am making a recommendation this week for two different reasons. To check out the the visual podcast of All Work, No Play. Now, this is created by Sam Riegel and Liam O'Brien. These are actually two of the guys who are on the Critical Role show that I watch for D&D. But they created this podcast basically as a way to catch up, hang out, and just be able to visit with their friends and just have an excuse to make it a thing. I think it's a really fun show. Lately, they've tried to rebrand and add a YouTube visual-esque element to it where they do different activities with a couple of their friends on there. So fun times had by all. The video in particular I am recommending, however, is one where they have a special guest of Carrie Payton. Now, those who don't know, Carrie Payton is a voice actor / TV actor. He plays Ezekiel on The Walking Dead. He plays the voice of Cyborg in Teen Titans and the latest iterations of it. This episode came out like a week or two after the George Floyd murder. And emotions were very raw around that time. And I am a big proponent to the idea of giving Black creators and Black people in general a voice and an outlet, and more importantly, be an ear to listen to how they are feeling and what they want to say. And in this podcast, they talk a lot about, how his feelings are around that time and some of his emotions of being able to jog down the street and his reactions to seeing the protest signs that are put around there. Some of his personal experiences with the cops, things like that. So
Carrie Payton is Black, I assume?
Yes.
Okay.
I probably should have prefaced with that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. I won't go too much further onto it. I will just say I felt it was a very powerful episode, and I do feel like it is an episode worth listening to, simply for the aspect of wanting to listen to what somebody of the Black community has to say.
And now on to the... Galen, what would you call it? What segment is this?
I would probably say this is our saltiest part of the podcast.
Didn't you say that last week?
Maybe, but it makes more sense this week because of the salt that you put into ramen, and yeah.
If you have a salty, savory, or umami-filled sentence that you want to send our way, you can send your letters to nintendoeverythingpod@gmail.com. Electronic letters.
Send in the instant ramen packets of our content to... That didn't make... It made sense in my head.
Oh my god, just finish the bit. This is painful.
nintendoeverythingpod@gmail.com. So, this week we have a email coming from our good friend Danny. Hey Danny, how's it going?
Oh Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen down the mountain. You're not gonna interrupt me? Come on.
No, I'm surprised you didn't go Mushroom Kingdom like with that, because the pipes are calling.
Oh. Oh.
And you call yourself a Nintendo podcast host. Danny writes in, "Hey Oni, hey Galen. What game series do you want to see Nintendo buy the rights to and make a game for? I wish they would have bought an ATLUS so they could have made Persona. Thanks for the countless hours of entertainment. Love you guys." Thanks a lot, Danny.
I love you too, Danny. I sure hope that The Shining was not as traumatic as it looked like it was.
So, pretty straightforward question this week. What franchises or companies do we want Nintendo to put their little, personal polish on?
So, here's my thought on this, is I'm not super into people buying companies up and making the games exclusive for them. Mm-hmm. Not super into that. I want as many things to be multi-plat as possible. Just everybody play games, have fun.
Yeah.
So I'm not super big into that. Where my brain went though with this question is, what things are dead and in the goddamn ground that we're never going to see again, that would not exist if it weren't for somebody to sweep in, and why not let it be the wonderful Nintendo to put their Nintendo polish on certain games. Certain games I think could really benefit from the Nintendo polish, and that answer is unequivocally Goemon, Mystical Ninja himself. I really, really want to see another 3D Goemon game. And just like, the charm of Goemon was not even its gameplay, which was fun. It was the humor and the weird wackiness. And I mean, the Nintendo Treehouse in America has like really good writers in it. Look at the Paper Mario series. I would just love to see just wacky antics, wacky ideas, just go crazy.
Oh, absolutely.
I think Nintendo could really support that.
Yeah. And I feel like there's so much you could do with the franchise from a technical standpoint, too, with the way that games have kind of been, designed and evolved. Like,
they could do nothing different with it, and it would be fine just because the game has been gone for so long.
No, absolutely.
But go on, sorry.
I would love to see Nintendo get their hands on Level 5 and bring over some more franchises, and maybe even bring back the Dark Cloud series. I've been thinking about that series a lot lately.
Oh, God. Out of all the things that Level 5 does, Dark Cloud is the thing that they care the least about.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, Dark Cloud and White Knight Chronicles. Hey!
I love Dark Cloud, too, so I'm just being a cynical muffa right over here. Yeah. Muffa is a Pokemon, by the way.
Who's that Pokemon? It's Oni!
Yeah, sure.
Is that your Pokemon noise? Just, oh, sure.
No, it's more like... I don't know.
Bark, bark! What?
I really, though, like, actually thinking about it, think that Nintendo works with them, pretty decently, Level 5, because they published the Yokai Watch games in the West. And I think that that's sort of why we haven't seen Yokai Watch 4 and Yokai Watch 1 for Nintendo Switch, is because there's probably deals going on right now about, no, Nintendo, you publish it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then that's why Yokai Watch 4 went multi-plat with PS4 later, because maybe some stuff fell, in the boardrooms between really, really old Japanese men.
Yeah. This might be a little sacrilegious to say, but what if they bought the rights to Sonic? Like, there have been Nintendo exclusive Sonic games out there before, but it's still Sega, like, doing their own thing.
I think Sonic games would be better, but I think that the Sonic IP and the fun of Sonic is partly about how awful it is 50% of the time, and the really weird way that it's going. I think that Sonic would lose some of its charm for people who love Sonic.
I kind of look at that as the same way as Marvel buying the rights to Spider-Man from Fox back when that was a thing last year, a year or two ago.
Oh, you mean in the movies? Well, they didn't even buy back they just worked out a deal with Sony.
Yeah.
They still don't own it.
No, absolutely.
Wait, no, that's a terrible... Okay, hold on, now I'm thinking about what you just said. That's a terrible analogy because the new Spider-Man movie was good. The new Spider-Man version was good. It was better than the last two versions that they did with Sony.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, what if... Do you think that Nintendo getting their hands on basically given free reign to do whatever they want to with Sonic as a character, as opposed to having this overarching brand, hey, these are the stipulations you have to make for this character, do you think that they would be able to make enough of a change for it? Honestly,
there was so many words.
I'm
so confused. What are you talking about?
I would honestly love to see a Mario Odyssey-esque game with Sonic. I think that would be cool.
I mean, I think that it would have Sonic's quills would lose their spike. A lot of those edges would be softened, and I'm sure, like, technically the game would be a lot of fun and it would be a good game, but I don't think that it would have that Sonicness that people are looking for. And And I don't think that it would be particularly well received, honestly.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm kind of right there with you, but the thought did cross my mind, and I was just like, oh, okay. Well, this maybe? The problem is that out of all of the game companies that are currently out there, Nintendo has always been one of the big ones to really hold on to their franchises and make a name for themselves as, hey, we have these
their
legacy
IP.
these legacy IPs to be able to back up on.
Yeah, that's why they hold everything very tight to the chest.
Mm-hmm. So I honestly don't see them reaching out and buying more and bringing them more over that way. So
yeah, they have a lot of like these smaller second-party studios that they own the majority rights for that a lot of people don't think about, like Brownie Brown, which actually I don't think that they're called that anymore. They're called like One Up Studios now or something like that. But they make, and they don't buy them because of the glamour or something like that. They acquire them because, well, I can't say why, but I assume it's because the profit shares that you need to buy the majority share of is smart for them, and they recognize talent. Like the Brownie Brown people have made a lot of really good games, and I think that that's smarter. That's a bigger or a better business decision, and it's not just like, oh, Nintendo buys Platinum, Nintendo buys ATLUS. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So, yeah. Thank you very much, Danny, for your email.
Thanks a lot, Danny.
And if you have words of encouragement for my fleeting sanity, send it into nintendoeverythingpod@gmail.com.
Send your emotional advice to in regards to Oni's sanity to nintendoeverythingpod@gmail.com.
Or ask for emotional advice. We are a great life advice podcast. Did you know that? Galen may not seem like it, but he is, in fact, an adult and has had experiences.
Yeah.
That he can talk about.
I do also play one on TV.
And he did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go. You can stay connected to NintendoEverything.com and our Twitter @NinEverything and our YouTube, youtube.com/NinEverything for 24/7 Nintendo news. And of course, my Twitter @Oni_Dino. Come connect with me. Come chat with me. I love when people are sharing their memories with me, sharing their spicy sassiness with me on there. It's hard to keep up with all of y'all, but I'm into it big time. I also got the Instagram. Instagram is Oni__Dino. Galen.
You can definitely follow me for video game shenanigans on Twitter @Mobius087. And yeah, I might be using my Instagram a little bit more frequently this upcoming week with my upcoming personal trip. You can follow that @True_Mobius. Lots of trees. I'm going to take lots of pictures of trees.
Brilliant. So exciting. Amazing.
It's Instagram. What else did you expect? Oni,
Yes.
give me some life advice.
Why life advice?
Okay. Give me some fried rice advice.
Okay. Easy. Sesame oil, number one. Always sesame oil. Toasted sesame oil.
Mm-hmm.
Never skip onions. You always need some sort of onion.
Okay. A little bit of mirin.
It depends. See, this is where it branches off. The the fried rice tree splinters off.
Okay.
Typically, Shaoxing wine. That's what you want to stick with.
Okay. Also, pro tip, use old rice.
Yeah, refrigerated rice is good.
Yeah. Like, make a batch of rice that you're specifically going to use for it, and then throw it in the... Like, do that the day before.
Galen, this part is supposed to be we're supposed to end on a high note. Instead, I love cooking, but we have to do something to save the show.
Are you saying that there is a higher point than talking about delicious food made with your best friend?
No.
I rest my case. I've been Harvey Birdman, attorney at law.
We'll see you next week. Until then, for everything Nintendo,
Stay tuned to Nintendo Everything.
bye-bye.
Objection!
I meant to be